Welcome to some trap tricking mods. Never done one of these before, so bear with me. Don't know really what I'm doing here. So this is a Clam Kenai Pro Thermal Ice Team Edition. That's a mouthful. It's a Clam Kenai Pro Thermal, but you get some accessories like a cover and battery tray, which I didn't even use. But the main reason I went with this is I liked the new tent. I like all that green. I think that's going to pop out on the lake. So I like that. So the main part of the mod is this box. Box is made out of HDPE, and that's a plastic sheet material. And it houses my Markham shuttle, fish finder, and camera. And then in the back side here is another area, and that holds my battery. So that's the Norsk. Impressed with the Norsk. Super light, good customer service. Way down there is another cubby, and I just put things like first aid kit, extra cleats, and extra hat. You know, stuff you're not gonna need all the time. Some toilet paper, gotta have that. Up top here, did I talk about this already? This is like the 5th time I've tried to make this video. I don't think I have. So this is a Mr. Heater golf cart model, and the red ones, if you have them, you know, if you touch them, they shut off. This golf cart one, you almost have to turn it at a 90 to get it to shut off. I think that'll work better for ice fishing. This is the first year I've got this one, as long as you're careful. I mean, obviously, but that drops down inside. And then I just put some clips on here, so it kind of holds it in. When I'm ripping across the lake, it won't bounce around. But the tank here, bulk of the tank sits down inside of this, and I just kind of have a little foam around the tank, like a beer koozie. And the idea is that it'll keep it from frosting up. And then I have these vents here, so when the fan's running, it pulls air across the tank area and pulls out any moisture. So we'll see how that works. The floor on the clams, they've got those huge channels in there, which works great for towing them underneath, but in here it's a pain. So this is an 1/8 inch piece of HDPE covered with just some automotive carpet, and I've used this automotive carpet for 10 years on ice shanties, and it weighs nothing, super light, and it holds up well. So got to start with a flat floor, build a box, you know. The clam shovel, which just kind of sits in here by friction. It's held, that's just a coat hanger with shrink tubing, so it kind of locks in there and stays really well. And then the wind pole, that's held with the marine navigation light. That's what you'd have inside a boat to store your light, so it works well for the pole. They got the clam bait well, and this is the bait well that you can flip it out. Obviously, with it being here, I won't be doing that. Mine's just going to stay inside. Little 0.6 gallon, perfect. Throw in a day's worth of minnows, and I mounted a little aerator in there. So clam tray, mounted my jig light in there. This is the old version, like one of the first ones that they came out with. So it's I don't know if it's bigger. My buddy's got one that's a lot smaller, so it fit in here well. So always like the Otter rod holder, and on these clams they have an additional hole here, so I could just use that. there's two mounts, 2 bolts for this, but the one holds it fine. So I got the Clam ruler, nice and easy for measuring a fish, or if you want to just pull it out of there, you can use outside of the shack. The seat cover cushion, and then I did the seat mod that a lot of guys do. This isn't my idea. You trim this, so instead of having the tube here that wraps all the way around, you just cut it. Now the seat will still slide back and forth, but it tilts. And then that allowed me to make just a tray inside here for holding my jig boxes. And this is another vent, and I'll explain why I have those vents around there in a minute. So then this part here is, well, that's kind of self-explanatory. Those are switches. It's got some USB plugs and then a meter on here. I learned a long time ago I prefer a breaker. So this is just a single breaker for everything. Everything I'm running is so low amperage that a single will do it, and then if I do trip something, I can just reset a breaker instead of digging fuses out. So I've got the Clam. Come on, get in focus here. This is the Clam small pouch. I'm not sure what they call it. A cool idea. I like it. I had to add a couple more bolts here because they just put it at each end, and it immediately just sagged out. So a couple extras there. These are the new Clam jig boxes, obviously taken from the fly fishing world. This is a medium. They make a small, medium, and large. The medium fits in here perfect. You could fit 3 of them. So if you're looking at the small Clam pouch, the medium jig box will fit perfect. The large won't. So this is the Clam rod rack, and I've had this thing for years and years and years. And I was just playing around with it last week, and I was like, oh, you can twist it. So I could actually put it at an angle and have the rods going straight. So that holds the rods, the foam, and I don't even have to lock them in. I mean, they're not going anywhere, so that works slick. So you got a main power switch. That turns everything on. I like having a singular place to turn all the power on and off. If you fire up the heater, once that's warming up, you can come over here and flip the fan on. So there's a blue light down inside there, just cause. That's kind of the battery you see down inside of there, but the blue shines up through. So what it does is the air blows across this heated area, circulates it around. But where it's pulling air from is those 2 vents here, and then the 1 vent that's down here. And the tub always gets really cold. That plastic just lets the cold radiate in. So what it's doing is pulling the cool air from the tub through the box, and then it blows it up out of here and heats it. So it's kind of like a return air for your house. It works really slick. I've done this previously, and it works well to take the cold air, warm it up, and circulate it around. So that's that. So I got cockpit lights that light up. If it was dark, this would look a lot better. But these are osmium lights. They're machine billet aluminum. They're really, really nice lights, and they're super inexpensive. They're like, these are, I don't know, $7 a piece, something like that. So really reasonable. So there's a couple of those. The storage has a blue light down in there, so if you're digging around at night. And then there's a couple of more osmium. These blue shine out on the ice. If you don't want a bright white light, that blue is kind of nice. So That's that. There's a switch for the aerator. And the aerator is that little green battery looking thing there. And that's from Norse. And that thing makes zero noise. And you can see how well that works. It's USB plug. So if you got a USB outlet, which I ran one over here, works really slick. And that's my jig light. I put the jig light on a switch because in previous builds that would just be on with the power, and I got sick of it shining in my face, so now I can shut it off. And then the last one is just a white ice light if I just want to light up my hole. So you can have blue or the white or both, but yeah, I think that is it. Hope you enjoyed.